Guys, I really think we could get more done. Like, he's an average YouTuber, isn't he, really? Oh, have a day off. You're an average doctor, and don't get me started on Mr. Online Business over there. I'm not in the mood for Mr. I Think I'm Famous. I think if we want to be more productive, like you said, we need to be more like Ali Abdaal.
Ali Abdaal is a doctor, entrepreneur, and YouTuber, and he's damn good at all three.
And we hit the launch button. By the end of that day, I think we'd closed about 70K worth of revenue.
I am a doctor, entrepreneur, and YouTuber, and I need to work on all three. This is Ali Abdaal's book. It's called Feel Good Productivity. And I think the foundations of Ali Abdaal's success lie in his ridiculous productivity. So I'm going to try and incorporate all of the different productivity techniques that he has in this book into my everyday life to see if it's beneficial for me.
Now 11 o'clock and I am significantly behind schedule.
It's Speed Monster.
Now I'm just heading to work. So
hopefully through this process, you can decide if it would be beneficial for you as well. So if you like the idea of that, stick around and let's get into this. The first step on this journey is tapping the three sources of good feelings. Those are fun, empowerment, and connection. So fun is trying to make the everyday tasks in your life actually fun and enjoyable, because that will make them more sustainable. They'll make you more of a joy to be around while you're doing them and make you enjoy the process more. The second one is empowerment, which is making sure you have an internal locus of control over the situations in your life. So making sure that things don't happen to you, that you take responsibility for the good things and the bad things that have happened to you. And finally is connection, which is surrounding yourself with really, really positive people that support you through your journey and encourage you. And so those are the three sources of good feelings. And I think that empowerment and connection personally for me are already pretty good, but I think the fun aspect is really, really difficult when you're working as a doctor in A&E.
when I get to work, I'm going to try and implement the making it fun. Night shifts are not fun, but we're going to try our best.
This week, I've really tried my best to incorporate this into my night shifts. And I was already tired, and A&E can be so stressful because you're seeing new presentations I might not have seen before. Every single person is completely different, and they've been waiting for 12 hours in A&E, so they're all in pretty terrible moods, which is understandable because they've been waiting and they're sick and they're, unsure of what's happening. So first of all, I think over time, because I've seen more and more patients, I'm getting more comfortable with the presentations. It's easier to make it fun because you feel a bit more comfortable in, your ability and your skills. As your competence increases, your ability to have fun in situations increases because you're less stressed. I think the thing that I've realized this week as well, though, is as much as you can try and bring in this positive attitude into work, if somebody's been waiting in A&E for 12 hours, you can't make everybody laugh. You can't make it enjoyable for everybody. Sometimes I'm feeling good about it. Sometimes I'm like, I just don't have the energy to do this. So now let's move on to avoiding the three sources of procrastination. Make sure you understand the why behind what you're doing, because that then allows you to set your priorities around it. Because I think personally for me, my doctor and my YouTube are the strongest whys that I have. And that means that the online business work that I do is just deprioritized. If you understand why you're doing the thing, then you can also allocate all of the tasks you need to get there, which is the how. So understand the why, then that allows you to work out the how. And then the one that I struggle with most is allocating the when. If you're in the habit of doing nothing, then you'll continue to do nothing. Whereas if you start to build motivation action loops, then that can be so beneficial for your productivity. if you just about manage to get enough motivation to do the first action of the day, the first to-do list item, that then re-motivates you to then do the next one. And I actually made a video about the neuroscience behind this. And so, if you want to watch that, I'll leave a link below. These motivation action loops can be really beneficial for building habits around productivity. And the final aspect in overcoming procrastination is anxiety. If you're really worried about the outcome behind what you're going to do, then you might just choose to not do it at all. So when I was younger, I really found this prevalent in my thinking. If you actually think about what is the worst thing that could possibly happen, that person actually says, "Oh, you're a terrible YouTube. Oh, you're that YouTube guy. Oh, those are weird videos." How bad is that actually? I just want to go into the confusion piece because I think it really applies to my online business. I have an online business called DFF, and we provide medical school notes to students looking to pass their final medical school exams. And so I understand the why behind it, which is to provide really beneficial notes in a way that isn't currently provided on the internet. The issue I really have here is the when. And so on Monday, I really tried to build a structured list of exactly what I wanted to do each hour of the day to see if I could type-ify my life, basically. And it went really badly. So last night I decided to schedule in all of my tasks for today, and I'm already behind schedule, which is not a good start, is it?
Oh, is it? Now 11 o'clock and I am significantly behind schedule.
It's Speed Monster.
So I went for the walk, did my shopping, made my lunch, and then I've completely missed the YouTube work section, so not ideal. Post nap, now it's meal prep time. It's now 20 past 8 and I'm sitting down to do the work that I planned to do at 11 o'clock this morning. So I've decided my priority has to be YouTube today because I need to make sure that I can get out the weekly videos. Now I'm just heading to work. So
I think I really benefit from spontaneity, and if I'm really enjoying taking the dog for a walk or talking to my parents at home, I'll just, stay for 20 minutes longer, even though my schedule says I need to be doing this instead. So that's what I found when I tried to, structure out every single hour of my day. So that didn't work for me, but what works instead is setting some priorities of, on this day, I really want to get this video recorded, this thumbnail made. So rather than structuring every single hour of the day, it is more around prioritizing key tasks. So now let's move on to the final aspect, which is making sure that this process is sustainable. The final thing I want to talk about here is avoiding the 3 kinds of burnout. And I actually think this was the area of the book that hit home most for me, because it's around making the work that you do actually sustainable. So this applies most to my YouTube voyages because I really struggle to make them sustainable. So the 3 aspects of this are strain, drain, and mismatch. So the first kind of burnout is strain, and that is the volume of work that you choose to put on your plate. So basically asking yourself the question, how much work can I do and it still remains sustainable? How do I know whether this amount of work is sustainable or not? And there was a question that Ali asked in the book that I found really, really useful. And that was, how often do you have to switch into the grind mindset rather than the fun mindset that we talked about earlier? And if you're switching into the grind mindset all of the time, that's probably not a sustainable way to keep doing this. So you're probably way too high on the strain scale if you're switching into grind mindset all the time. The second aspect is drain. So drain is making sure that you get enough restorative rest after all the work you put in. And what restorative rest actually means for you can be completely different to me. So I think that as much as I make these videos and I'm quite an outgoing person, I'm actually an introvert because I find that my restorative rest is being on my own. I'm energized by being alone. Whereas other people might be energized by being around other people, and that's what I would define as an extrovert. So find what restores you and make sure you get enough of that, enough restorative rest to make these things sustainable. And that is the drain aspect. And finally, we have mismatch, making sure that your why is aligned with the work that you're actually choosing to do. So if you really, really love doing YouTube work and you're not doing any YouTube work, but you're actually doing work on other things that you don't really like, then burnout will creep up on you because you've got so much work here that you don't want to do, and it doesn't align with your long-term goals, but you're still doing it. So I think that avoiding the 3 kinds of burnout for me applies so much to YouTube, because over the years, you can see by the consistency of the schedule that I get spikes in motivation and spikes of, well, I'm really going to smash this now. And it just isn't sustainable because there's so much work that goes into these videos, whether that's setting up the lights, the camera, the microphone, writing the scripts, editing the videos, making the thumbnails. Like, there's a lot of work there. And so there's a lot of strain. And when I've done it in the past, I think I've pushed too much into the grind mindset, and that has meant that I've burnt out over time. I find that actually fun mode and grind mode are at odds with each other. I've got 2 options whether I go into one or the other, and when I don't get enough restorative rest, then I will probably switch into grind mode and not really want to do it, but feel like I have to get the work done. But if I can switch into fun mode more, that makes the work way more sustainable. Because if I think, oh, instead of I have to do this, I get to do this, then that can be a really beneficial switch in mindset to allow me to switch from grind mode into fun mode. And then that allows me to do more work because it feels less straining. All rest isn't restorative rest. I also have reluctant rest, which I really had last week. So I'd done nights the weekend before, then I'd done some days during the week, and then worked the weekend as well. And then on the Monday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do some work. And then I was like, I'm so tired, I can't physically try to do work on YouTube or work on the business. And rather than having restorative rest that day, I had reluctant rest, which was, I sat on the couch, I felt like I didn't want to do anything, but I didn't really embrace it. I wasn't in the moment because I was regretting not doing the work I needed to do. So that's something that I'm tackling at the moment, and I'm not really sure on the answer to be honest. If you've got any ideas about how you can make sure you can switch from reluctant rest into restorative rest, then I'd really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments below. I really hope that through this process, you have been able to apply some of this to your everyday life. If you want to see more videos like this, then please subscribe. Leave a comment down below of any thoughts you've got around any of these techniques. And if you've got any other, famous people, I've done Ali Abdaal's book, whether you want Peter Attia or Andrew Huberman or any of those people, I could try and incorporate their techniques and tools and protocols into my everyday life if you think that would be useful. Subscribe if you enjoyed this. I'll see you soon.